Rafael Nadal, the king of clay, drops a mic-drop truth bomb that could shatter two tennis prodigies' worlds: Emma Raducanu's hidden scars from overnight fame and Carlos Alcaraz's unspoken fear of fading under pressure. But what if one secret comment from Rafa ties them together in a way that changes tennis forever? You won't believe what's next. What's up, tennis fanatics? You're tuned into all sports updates. Smash that like button and subscribe now if you're craving the unfiltered drama, because today we're exploding the Nadal bombshell on Raducanu and Alcaraz that has the sport buzzing like a hive on fire. It was a sweltering July afternoon in 2025, the kind where the air in London hangs heavy with anticipation and the faint scent of fresh-cut grass from Wimbledon still lingers in every headline. Rafael Nadal, freshly retired but eternally the voice that commands silence in any room, sat down with the Times for what was billed as a casual chat about the next generation. The 22-time Grand Slam champion, his face etched with the lines of battles won on red dirt and green lawns alike, leaned back in his chair, those piercing eyes scanning the room as if sizing up an opponent across the net. The reporter, emboldened by the quiet, tossed out the question that had been festering online for weeks. What does he make of the electric chemistry between Emma Raducanu and Carlos Alcaraz? Not just their on-court synergy, but the whispers, the courtside glances, the shared practices, the rumors of something deeper blooming amid the baseline grinds. The room froze. Nadal paused, a beat longer than usual, and then unleashed words that rippled through the tennis world like a serve clocking 140 miles per hour. This wasn't gossip fodder. This was a scalpel slicing into the hearts of two stars teetering on the edge of glory and collapse. And in that moment, the interview transformed from fluff to a revelation, pulling back the curtain on pressures that could either forge legends or fracture them beyond repair. Nadal's response wasn't a dismissal, though the headlines screamed blunt refusal at first glance. "Sorry, but I don't get involved in those topics," he said, his voice steady as ever, laced with that unmistakable Mallorcan accent that turns every syllable into a statement of unyielding resolve. But then, as if the weight of his own legacy compelled him to offer more, he pivoted, not to the romance speculation that had tabloids salivating, but to the raw, unspoken truth about what fame does to the young and gifted. He zeroed in on Raducanu first, the 2021 US Open phenom who exploded onto the scene at 18, qualifier to champion in a fairy tale run that captivated the globe. "I think she won very early on," Nadal mused, his tone softening just a fraction, the empathy of someone who's stared down his own demons. "When she won the US Open she was very young. There were a lot of expectations and pressure on her. It takes time to come to terms with." Those words landed like a gut punch, not because they were harsh, but because they were achingly accurate. A quiet acknowledgement of the invisible toll that victory extracts when it arrives unannounced, like a storm in summer. Raducanu, with her poised demeanor and that effortless swing that belies the hours of unseen toil, had spent years since that New York triumph navigating a labyrinth of injuries, coaching carousel spins, and the relentless scrutiny that turns every forehand into a referendum on her potential. Nadal, who knew the script all too well, his own rise shadowed by the Federer-Sampras giants, saw in her the mirror of his early struggles, the kind where the world crowns you queen before you've learned to wear the weight of the jewels. But Nadal didn't stop at empathy, he wove it into a tapestry that ensnared Alcaraz too, his young compatriot and heir apparent to the Spanish throne of tennis. Carlos, with his boyish grin and explosive athleticism that recalls a young Rafa tearing up Roland Garros, had been dodging his own shadows in 2025. Fresh off a Wimbledon final charge where he dismantled foes with that signature drop shot wizardry, Alcaraz had confessed in hushed tones to feeling the grind, the calendar's merciless churn, the pull between family hearths and hotel anonymity. Players like him, Nadal implied without naming, face a different beast. Not the shock of early triumph, but the suffocating expectation to sustain it, to evolve from prodigy to eternal champion under the glare of a nation hungry for the next idol. In that interview snippet, clipped and shared a million times by evening, Nadal's bombshell crystallized a shared vulnerability, Raducanu's battle to reclaim her spark after the pressure crushed it, and Alcaraz's quiet dread of the day his fire flickers. It was as if Rafa, from his vantage of hard-won wisdom, had lobbed a grenade into the narrative, forcing fans to confront that these aren't just superstars. They're humans, fragile and fierce, bound by the invisible threads of ambition and doubt. The moment hung electric, the reporters scribbling furiously, the air thick with the realization that Nadal had just humanized the untouchables, turning rumor mill chatter into a profound meditation on legacy's double edge. As the sun dipped lower that July day, the tennis ecosystem ignited. Social media timelines flooded with reactions, former pros like Andy Murray tweeting cryptic nods of agreement, while pundits dissected every inflection in Nadal's voice like codebreakers at Bletchley Park. Raducanu, still stinging from her third-round Wimbledon exit to Aryna Sabalenka, a match where she led breaks in both sets before the world number one clawed back with predatory precision, posted a subtle story on Instagram, a black-and-white photo of her racket resting against a sunset, captioned simply with a wave emoji. No words, but the subtext screamed volumes, echoing Nadal's sentiment that time, not talent alone, heals the fractures fame inflicts. Alcaraz, meanwhile, powered through his schedule with that relentless energy, but post-match pressers caught the flicker, a hesitation when asked about mentors, his eyes darting as if searching for Nadal's ghost in the back row. The bombshell wasn't just words, it was a catalyst, stirring the pot of their intertwined paths. Remember the mixed doubles pairing announced for the US Open? That news had already sparked the romance buzz, with Raducanu spotted in the stands for Alcaraz's Queen's semi-final triumph over Roberto Bautista Agut, her laughter carrying over the baseline like a shared secret. But now, layered with Nadal's insight, those moments read differently, not flirtation, but fellowship, two warriors finding solace in the storm. The storytelling here unfolds like a thriller, boy meets girl on the practice courts, but the real plot twist is the elder statesman whispering warnings from the wings, reminding them that the court's glamour hides thorns sharp enough to draw blood from even the boldest hearts. Diving deeper into Raducanu's arc, Nadal's words unearth a narrative buried under layers of hype and heartbreak. That 2021 US Open win wasn't just a title, it was a supernova, illuminating an 18-year-old from Bromley who bypassed qualifiers with the poise of a veteran, toppling Leylah Fernandez in a final that felt scripted by destiny. Overnight, she became Britain's golden girl, endorsements raining down like confetti, magazine covers framing her as the next Serena. But the pressure? It coiled around her like a vice, every ankle tweak dissected on Sky Sports, every coaching change fodder. Rafael Nadal, the king of clay, drops a mic-drop truth bomb that could shatter two tennis prodigies' worlds. Emma Raducanu's hidden scars from overnight fame and Carlos Alcaraz's unspoken fear of fading under pressure. But what if one secret comment from Rafa ties them together in a way that changes tennis forever? You won't believe what's next. What's up, tennis fanatics? You're tuned into all sports updates. Smash that like button and subscribe now if you're craving the unfiltered drama, because today we're exploding the Nadal bombshell on Raducanu and Alcaraz that has the sport buzzing like a hive on fire. It was a sweltering July afternoon in 2025, the kind where the air in London hangs heavy with anticipation and the faint scent of fresh-cut grass from Wimbledon still lingers in every headline. Rafael Nadal, freshly retired but eternally the voice that commands silence in any room, sat down with the Times for what was billed as a casual chat about the next generation.